It's Zebro and Laura and Rosenberg. And give it up for Nathalie Emmanuel on the program. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah.
All right.
Perfectly.
Just making
Thank
sure.
you.
This is also Miss Sandy and Ramsey. And also you're in The Killer and Megalopolis, which is just came out, Megalopolis. Or
It's
about
out
to come
tomorrow.
out. Tomorrow.
Yeah, 27th.
What's Megalopolis about?
So Megalopolis is essentially a Roman epic, but set in modern times.
Okay.
And it's directed by Francis Ford Coppola. He's been
Pretty big name. He's
yeah,
done some things.
he knows what he's doing. So it was an idea that he's been kind of thinking on for 40 plus years.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it really is about but in a city like New York, but in the movie it's called New Rome, and it's the kind of mayor of the city. He's very much about tradition and keeping things the old way, and then there's this kind of genius architect who wants to change everything, build a city that serves the people, has all this kind of scientific genius, and he's really represents like progression and asking questions about the future and what we can do as humanity. So it's a very it throws up a lot of questions, really.
Kind of where we are as humankind right now.
Right, exactly. It's very, very timely.
People holding on to traditional ways and conservative, whatever, and then you have people who are more progressive and thinking about the future.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what he's having a conversation about, really. It's, tradition isn't all bad. There's things that we can take with us and move into the future with, like that, work. And but it's not being afraid of like the new things and the progression, and how can we find a balance. And it really takes everybody to have that conversation. And so I think the movie just throws up a lot of questions about that. And I think people have to go in watching it with an open mind, because I think what Francis does that's really interesting is that he asks a lot of questions but doesn't necessarily hand the answer to you.
That's right.
So you get to leave. And I mean, I've seen the movie like 3 times now, and even after 3 times, I'm like discovering new things. So it's just like a little memory dropped into my head, and I'm like, we'll have a whole debate with somebody about it, So I think that's part of.
And what character do you play?
I played Julia Cicero.
Okay.
And she is the mayor's daughter, so she's from the
The
family
progressive
of
mayor or the
no, the tradition.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, old school, and played by the legend Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, we love him. He's amazing. And so, and really their story, their father-daughter relationship is very, very, I guess, rocked by her sudden kind of interest, and then, I guess, love for essentially his kind of nemesis, who represents the complete opposite of what he represents. And so she really represents conflict in the movie.
I just wanted to talk about Giancarlo Esposito really quick, and just how do you feel like we celebrate him enough? Like, this kind of for all of us. Do you feel? Well, I mean,
no, I think he needs to be celebrated more.
I think he is always due more celebration.
Yeah.
Always, because
the roles that he, like, when you think
so
about
exceptional.
the range.
Yeah.
I feel like in the last few years, honestly, he has gotten a fair amount of love. In the post-Breaking Bad years, actually, I feel like that. Like, he gets a lot. I think he gets a good amount of appreciation right now.
I feel like maybe, I mean, for me, I've always just been a massive fan of him, and always really, like, when I found out he was playing my dad, I was over the moon. Over the moon.
Say less.
I was like, I'll be there. And I've worked with him very briefly once before, but to really get to like explore this father-daughter relationship with him was like really special, and I was like, I'm so excited about this. But yeah, I mean,
did you meet all these people though? Did you work with everybody in this film or not?
Yeah, pretty much.
Go through some of the names.
Adam
Driver.
Yes.
Grace Vanderwaal.
Yes. Oh, what a sweetheart. Yeah.
Dustin Hoffman.
We were in some scenes together, kind of at a distance, but
Talia Shire.
Oh my goodness. Yep. Obsessed with her.
Jason Schwartzman.
Wonderful man. So funny.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Yep. Got to work with
Fury Styles is in this joint.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot of people in this movie, and and the list goes on.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It's really exciting and like slightly intimidating.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounds like that. Did your how much did Game of Thrones change your life?
I was a very out of work actor at that time, working in retail. Just paying the bills, and then I got a call and said, "You're in the biggest show in the world right now."
Remind us, you enter the show and it's already popping.
What season did you
Season
enter?
3, beginning of season 3.
Whoa,
that's crazy.
And I was also like a hardcore fan.
Did you go through a series of auditions where you was just like, I can't believe I'm auditioning?
Yeah, well, I had one audition.
Okay.
And then didn't hear anything for 5 weeks, 6 weeks or something. And
So it felt like years.
well, to be honest with
You
you,
didn't even think there's a chance.
well, if I don't hear some feedback like, oh, you've got a callback, or
Right.
just even within maximum like a week, I just assume it's gone away and
Right.
they've gone with a different choice, which
Happens all
happens
the time.
all the time. So I didn't even think about it. So when my agent called and said, "You got it," and I was like, I didn't really know what she was talking about because I'd been up for a couple other things, and I think I'd done an audition for like a commercial. And I was like, oh, that would be a nice bit of like money, rent money. That's great.
Right.
So I was like, oh, great, cool. So when should I come down to London? She was like, no, Game of Thrones. And I was like,
So
it was crazy.
That is so vastly different than getting a commercial.
it's, yeah.
Like instead of showing up for a shoot for one day, it's
Bro.
like, no, set your
You're
schedule.
moving.
You're moving somewhere for a while.
Yeah.
What was that process like for your character? Like, did you have to be someplace for a long period of time?
Actually, no. I mean, we shot majority of our like kind of studios and stuff was in Belfast in Northern Ireland, and then they would do like locations, which I was on the crew that always got to go to the like great locations, so Croatia, Spain, and I was very lucky. But really, we just would go for a short stint and we'd cover maybe the exteriors and then maybe shoot some interiors in the studio in Belfast. So it was always like kind of short stays. I wasn't in it sort of that intensely.
It must be really cool when you're a part of a show like that has so many layers to it.
Yeah.
And you're just dealing with your specific scenes, right? Like you're with Khaleesi doing your thing, but there's this entire world that's happening.
Yeah.
Did it make watching the actual episodes air like a fascinating experience?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was a fan of the show, like hardcore fan. And so I watched every episode when it aired. I didn't want spoilers. I would stay off social media. And I'm like in it. And I've read the episodes. I've read them.
But you want to see how it plays out on camera.
yeah.
Yeah, especially with special effects. Like you're shooting with all these green screens. So do you
Yeah.
get to see it when it airs with everyone else? Or do you get like a you get to see it before?
Usually they will have a screening of the first episode.
Okay.
That
So
would
wait,
usually
those weren't
happen.
real
But just the
dragons,
first
is what you're saying? Those
Yeah.
weren't like really dragons that she was standing up? Like, what are you saying? Laura, those
Yeah, I
are
don't
real
like what you're
dragons.
saying.
I don't like what you're saying right now.
No, they were there.
It was
Ebro, they were
definitely not a guy with a long stick and a green ball on the end.
Right.
It definitely wasn't that.
It wasn't that. It wasn't that. Not at all.
So I was asking you off the air, but so how did you feel about the final season? This is a big, I have this fight a lot because I had rewatched the whole show again,
Okay.
right leading up to the final season.
Okay.
Oh, I did different.
So yeah, mine wasn't after. So by the time the final season started, I had just finished, like days earlier.
Oh, wow.
So I was right in the spot.
You
So
were
to
ready.
me, I was so like in the zone that I really enjoyed how all of it played out. And even in spite of the fact that people think it was too fast at the end and there was too much happening and, oh my God, why would Khaleesi all of a sudden over a man completely lose her character and kill everybody? I was like, I like wrestling. Sometimes the good guy turns bad. Like things happen. How did you truthfully feel about the final season?
I really loved the final season. I was so proud of it. I mean, I was there, I think maybe because I'm so close to it, and my colleagues just like poured everything into it, and I just saw, I mean, they did so many weeks of night shoots, like so many weeks, and I just saw that on the screen. I saw the kind of blood, sweat and tears and everyone's performances. I was just in awe of everybody, and I loved it. And I think it's okay if you didn't, by the way. Like, it's okay if your favorite character didn't quite get the most satisfying ending. You know, this is like art. Not everyone's gonna like everything. And there were so many characters, so many storylines to tie up. And I just was so, what they did on screen for me was just so spectacular and so phenomenal, and the performances, it's hard for me not to love it.
Yeah, I watched it in its entirety again during the pandemic.
After, okay.
Oh, yeah?
After. And during, I felt like, yeah, and it was cool. I felt like it was rushed, but I wasn't mad at it. Like I was kind of, yeah, it was good. It was good.
I really.
But when you watch it
Yeah.
as a body of work,
I think it lands too.
I think it lands.
Yeah.
It hits.
Yeah, and I think for me the sort of big feeling reactions really were testament to how brilliant the show is and
That's
how
a great
much
point.
people care about it and were invested in it, and and I was like, yeah, I mean, okay, like you didn't love it, you were angry about it, like cool, but it really just speaks to the sort of levels that they were moving at.
Do you still watch have you watched this prequel?
I have actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it too. I'm enjoying it.
To me, it's. I didn't think there was a chance it could feel close. Like I didn't think it could fill that spot in my life, and I do. I think it does.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't think it's Game of Thrones,
It's a different show.
It is a different
obviously.
show.
It's got its own identity.
but it
its own
does
thing.
hit. Like it will hit you with that Sunday night
Yeah.
characters that I love in a world that I'm familiar
That's right.
with.
Really,
right.
really brilliant actors.
With amazing actors. Do you feel? I just recently watched the David Chase documentary on Max about The Sopranos, and it's fantastic. I
Okay.
truly recommend it. But like, it did make me. It reminded me that Game of Thrones at its peak was the closest I think we've ever gotten to Sopranos in terms of like, and I know it's a little different because you live in England, but like where culturally the world is like, oh, Sunday night,
Yeah.
people are watching Sopranos. And by
Yeah.
the time that finale came, like you could feel the silence like in New York when Sopranos was airing. I think Game of Thrones got there, which is like an incredible place to be. Is it intimidating to think like, I don't know if it's possible that any actor, not just you, will ever, on that show, will ever be able to do something that culturally is so impactful?
I mean, I guess I haven't really thought about it in that way.
In that negative, depressing, horrible way that I just put it? Why?
No,
I think it's the way to think about it.
I guess I just found the fact that I was involved like such a miracle in my
As you
life
should.
that I was like,
Well, that's the way. That's
Hey,
the way to
man,
think
You're
about
like,
it.
Like-
I'm just
Right,
happy to
don't
be
listen
here,
to him.
okay?
yeah,
No,
I'm
that's
just
the
so
way to look at it.
happy.
Your life goes on. You will do other great things.
Yes.
And
I
we
hope
will
so.
know you for other things.
I mean, truly, if everything kind of all stopped tomorrow, I've done so many things that I'm so proud of and so excited by that I'm like, wow, I've had opportunities that so many people may never have. And like, it's hard for me to think of it in that way. But I hear you though, because
I think it's kind of beautiful though too. Like you
Yeah.
can just do other stuff that you'll love for the rest of your life because in your back pocket you're like,
I did
oh,
a
I'm in a
thing.
culture, I'm in a forever thing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
well,
Most
I-
people don't have that.
yeah, I guess it's a really special thing. And I hope that the show continues to be revisited by people and that they appreciate the amazing work that was done.
And you
were
met
in scenes-
dragons.
Yeah, you met dragons. You were in the scenes with Khaleesi. Like, what are we talking about, bro?
What was
great.
Peter Dinklage like? I've never met Peter Dinklage. Tell us
I
something
like
about
Peter. He's funny.
He seems
He
like
used
a
to make me
funny,
laugh
like-
a lot, and
yeah.
I'm terrible at like breaking and laughing.
Oh, you-
when people are funny. Him and Conleth Hill, who played Varys together, it was really hard. And my character and Jacob Anderson, who played Grey Worm,
Yeah.
like we're quite kind of stoic characters, and that was really difficult. There were times when I was like, Jacob, don't look at me, I can't. It's like, this is too much. Like, we just had to.
We've had Grey Worm here before. He's one of the
Yeah.
cast
Wow.
members who's been here. Yeah.
We had a lot of fun watching when you guys, I think that's when like TikTok was really bubbling, but you guys having just fun behind the scenes, in
yeah.
character,
Yeah.
full costume. That for us, because we loved it so much and we see you as such serious
Right,
characters.
it's
You
so
guys
hard to
goofed
picture.
around,
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, what would they rap into like future? I don't know, just stuff that was so good.
So silly. We
It
were
was so
very
fun.
silly
And we
together.
just felt like we were a part of it. It was so
yeah,
fun.
I mean, I think because it was such a, like you said, such a specific moment. We really kind of bonded together. Like there was only the people that we as a group knew what it was like to be a part of something like that, and so yeah, we
That
got
bond
very
lasts.
close. Yeah, we still check in with each other, and like everyone's got lives and families and career. It's like everyone's busy, but people always check in and see how everyone is.
Well, good for you.
Yeah,
That's
thank
pretty.
you. Thank you.
And now you did a film with Francis Ford Coppola,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
like,
just
what are we
crazy.
trying?
Like,
It's crazy.
I walked past I live on the Upper West Side, and I walked past the setup for the premiere the other day, and I was like, I looked at the thing and it says Francis Ford Coppola. I'm like, just seeing his name on a thing looks crazy.
Yeah.
Let alone like being in a film. Is he a normal human being, Francis Ford Coppola? Does he float? Like, I don't think of him as like a real person.
He's obviously like a very unique and specific talent, you know, like he's a very experimental, like artistic. He's unconventional and but you know, like on a day to day, like he's kind of regular guy, really, like, you know, but
you didn't.
the way that he works is
wine
very.
around. Did he have his wine around by any chance?
Not that I could see.
Okay, I was just
You're picturing that. That's how you picture
I
it.
was like, yo, Francis Ford Coppola shows up. He's got his wine.
Someone runs up with a.
Yeah, he pours the wine. You know.
Oh, who has made you in your Hollywood journey? Who has made you geek out thus far? That you've had a full on like, oh my God, I'm not cool. I'm talking to blank. Besides the show, obviously, I understand this is
Obviously,
important.
like this room,
Right.
other than
You
present
walk
company.
in,
Yeah,
you go,
she
this
was
is
like, yo,
something.
this is-
Like, yay, how nice, this is
shit.
amazing.
But besides that,
Do you know what? I actually met Kate Winslet yesterday, and I just have so much like
Yes.
respect for her. She's such a brilliant actor, and that was quite exciting. But
and okay, is there anyone out there yet that you're yet to meet? But if you end up in a room with them, it's like, oh my God! Like if I end up at the Golden Globes next to Beyonce, I'm going to faint or whatever.
it's Beyonce. Sorry, I just like Beyonce.
Well, she's almost beyond that. You can't even think of her as being a possibility. So you're
I
like,
mean, I would be very excited to meet her.
well, remember at the it was the Golden Globes. No, it was at the Grammys this year. It was the Grammys this year when Hove gave those speech, right?
Yeah.
At the Grammys this year, when Beyonce was there, a line developed during all like the commercial breaks of celebrities lining up to meet Beyonce.
I'd be in that line.
Right,
I think it was like Ice Spice who was like, yeah, it turned into a Beyonce meet and greet. And we
It
were
was
all
a meet and
geeked
greet because
out.
everyone was like, "Hi, Swansea, get a quick." If you could just,
Yeah.
yeah, she's different.
Beyonce.
Yeah,
Before you came in, we were like, wow, where's she from? We saw that I think your mother's Dominican, your father is.
So
right?
both of my parents are like part like British.
Yeah.
And then their fathers were from the Caribbean.
Got
So
it.
my mother's father was from Dominica, not Dominican Republic.
Okay, got it. Dominica.
different.
I'm sorry, that's Wikipedia. Getting your,
No, it's okay. It's a common mistake.
But
And
no,
then
the woman at the Olympics made sure to correct
Yes.
everyone. She was like, it's Dominica.
it's
Like,
Dominica.
Different place.
We always say DA, not DR. It's
right.
different.
Where is it? Where is Dominica? Pardon my ignorance.
It's kind of near St. Lucia and Martinique. It's like a little cluster, like
Okay.
that end. And then my father's side, his father was St. Lucian.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Shout out to all the Caribbean massive.
Yes.
Shawnee's Trinidadian.
We're everywhere.
Yeah, particularly in England too.
Exactly. Yeah. And I know in New York too.
Yeah.
And I was just
over.
in Toronto.
Facts.
And
And Toronto.
I walked like 10 minutes out the hotel and found a Trini street festival.
Yeah.
We were like, great.
Yeah.
Listening to soca and eating chana. It was wonderful.
I love it. Nathalie Emmanuel, Megalopolis, out tomorrow.
Yes.
Go check that. And thank you for coming by our
Thank
program.
you so
And
much.
congrats on all your success.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
thanks for having me.
Of
I
course.
feel like really excited by this.
Oh, stop!
So cool.
You're now a friend of the show.
Amazing.
We generally have rules for that take longer.
Wow, you
Okay.
moved the 2-visit rule?
Yeah, it's because she was on Game of Thrones. She was an important character on Game
That's
of
Miss
Thrones.
Sandy right
That's
there.
Miss Sandy. You jump
Oh,
right
wow.
in. You're
Oh, wow.
a friend of the show. now, so
Wow,
you're good.
okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks so
cheers.
much.